Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Block Review, and this is Building Blocks, a series on Roblox game design. The game Welcome to Bloxburg by Cultus, one of the most popular features in the game, is definitely the ability to build your home. This game uses something I'm gonna call free building. So players aren't usually traditional Roblox builders, so they won't always be motivated to trying to build models like trees and chairs by scratch. And they aren't game coders either, so they can't tell the game to turn this TV on or have their character eat this pancake. So the developer has to provide the player the ability to place pre-built objects that the game offers. So it's as simple as picking something you like and placing it where you want. This may sound easy, except Cultus needs to find ways to make the building accessible and easy to use. To make this image come true, he gives the player a top view camera that you can rotate. You can also plant it to eye level and go through walls. You're given an optional grid for proper measurements and increments, a visual representation of objects being placed, how door holes appear before you buy them, a toggle button to hide roofs, snap features for certain items, holding the left mouse button to stretch walls, having a quick paint bucket tool for paint and materials, having an object on the table move with the table, having the light switch interact with all lights in the room, and yeah, that's a long list. So maybe it isn't that easy, but for the player, it should be. If a game wants the player to build their own image, it needs to be simple to use and have a lot of options to choose from. So Cultus does everything he can to make the experience easy to handle, but provide the player with lots of options and a lot of variety. Not counting the ones behind game passes, of course. But where Bloxburg asks players, what do you want to build? Build a boat for treasure asks players, what can you build? While Bloxburg treats its building segment as an attraction, the game Build a Boat for Treasure has building as its main feature. It's even in the name. In Build a Boat for Treasure by Chio's Studio, you're told to build a boat and sell it to open seas. Easy. Except your ship can also fall apart and take damage from incoming hazards in the sea. And your ship is affected by gravity, so you might find your ship flipping over or spinning circles. So this rule makes building a challenge rather than a luxury. Let's just note it as limited building. You're still free to do what you want, but you're limited to what you're able to do, not what you're allowed to do. Give the player the ability to make dumb decisions. These games are meant to test the player, so players should be able to do things that may ultimately fail. So players like me will build big stupid bricks to survive, while other players get a bit more creative. If only there's some sort of spectate button. Lumber Tycoon 2 by Defaultio is one of the more innovative tycoons out there, and one of its key innovations is the way you build. There's also the idea of making more efficient conveyors for your wood, but we'll save that for another video. In Lumber Tycoon 2, certain structures like walls, stairs, and other wooden objects can only be built if you have wood. You select an object, place it down, then fill it with planks. Planks are gathered by chopping down trees in the game and placing the wood into the sawmill. But the game adds in this interesting idea to have your wooden objects use the wood you used to make it. So if you want a specific color or material for what you're building, you'll need to explore the map and look for the trees yourself. Alright, so this section of the video will contain spoilers for the location to some of the trees, as well as hidden locations in Lumber Tycoon 2. A lot of the fun in the game comes from its big and open sandbox. And with that being said, if you haven't explored the game enough, or liked what I've said about the game so far, please play Lumber Tycoon 2. You can find it in the description of this video. So, back on topic. The game has loads of trees scattered in this giant map, and each area has their own set of trees. So just as an example, say you want an icy throne for your house. You'll have to pay 100 money to cross the bridge. Make your way to the safari biome, buy dynamite in this shack for 220. Retrace your steps to the start, use dynamite to clear the way, explore the tiger biome till you find a passage on the side of the mountain, walk up this narrow path till you finally find the frost trees. Then from there, it's just as simple as finding a way to bring it back to your base. The game is filled with this stuff. In the podcast called Block Talk, which you can watch yourself in the description, Defaultio and Stickmaster Luke talked about the Roblox game Plaza by Weejin, a role-playing game with a free building mindset, and he had this to say.
Was the house building system was like too restrictive. There were like wall items and ceiling items and floor items, and you can only put beds on the floor and like ceiling fans on the ceiling.
For a good role-play game, I think you need to have lots of elements that can be used in many different ways.
Yeah.
And so if you want someone to make something creative, you need to actually allow them to have the freedom to put a bed on the wall. Because they're going to make something that actually ends up being really cool that you didn't even think of.
With Lumber Tycoon 2, this is true. You can have floating furniture, and you can even place your sawmill upside down. So a game like Lumber Tycoon 2 has no obstacle or an enemy player trying to take you down. Just you versus your ability to create. The game gives players the freedom to build their own experience. And the challenge is how far you can stretch your imagination with the tools and abilities given to you. Unlike build a boat for treasure, rather than having an in-game objective, you now have a personal goal. You come up with what you want to create, plan out how you're going to do it, and find the materials you're going to use to make it. And this ends up making a very creative community. I'm not saying that free building and limited building games should be more like Lumber Tycoon. After all, games are for everyone, and not everyone wants to play competitively, casually, or spend time looking for wood. But I personally find the methods behind Lumber Tycoon a lot more interesting, unique, and engaging when it comes to giving players control. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I know I said I'd post another video about Roblox disasters, but after looking back at my script, I ended up disagreeing with myself. But I do plan to do a full study the Roblox genre video for 2 of the first building games in separate videos. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.